Crisis Report in the evening. Hello. Welcome to the Crisis Report. It is November 5th, 2024, and this is Election Day in America. So, clearly, that is the big story that is going on. We have a lot of that coming, but we also do have a lot of other stuff coming with the conflict going on in the Middle East. There actually was a big move today by Netanyahu, who fired one of the main people in his cabinet. We'll be covering that and the political fallout. And, of course, all the up-to-date stuff on the election. I don't think you'll know things tonight, so possible but not probable. So we're going to cover that as well. And then, of course, all of the war stuff going on and being the way things are trending, I think you can pretty much expect some kind of a conflict with Iran at some point. So they said that they were going to do it before the election, and then, of course, they put it off because they said, well, Iran wants Kamala to win because she is more sympathetic and not quite as much of a war hawk against the Iranians than Mr. DJT would be. So now all of that is up in the air, and we don't know exactly where things are going to go. So we're going to cover all of this, put it all together so you can get a good idea of what's going on because, yes, the election is a huge development. It will affect geopolitics. It will affect a lot of different stuff, but at the same time, the same old is going on all over the world with the conflict and everything else. It's precarious out there, so makes one understand why Mr. DJT winning would be something that could possibly happen. People are not happy with the current state of things. People are not happy with the money. People are not happy with all kinds of stuff that are going on. So you sit back, we'll put it out there. I'm sure the numbers on this stream will be low. They're also jacking with me with the whole thing. And also, as we get through this, there's going to be a lot of butthurt people out there about all this. So expect crackdowns and all kinds of other craziness going on platforms like this one and others, because that's just what they do, you know. So, on that note, we're going to get started. 3 minutes in. This is your crisis report for November 5th, 2024. Here we go. Mounting debt is a result of one financial crisis following another. Our nation's debt will continue to grow regardless of who wins the election, Harris or Trump. I started with that one to let you know the big picture. Debt is going to be coming at us from all sides. Just because your flavor of politics is one, it doesn't mean that things are going to get better. It just means that we're going to manage it all, and you should still keep putting stuff away. That's why I made the video last night on PrepperNow, if you haven't seen it, about what is the point. The point is always being prepared and knowing that no saviors are going to be coming from the government in any form, whether they are sympathetic to your politics or not. First 6 ballots of the 2024 U.S. election were counted in Dixville Notch, New Hampshire. Donald Trump got 3. Kamala Harris got 3. And it's pretty much the story of the night. It's been pretty much 50-50. In 2020, all of the votes went to Joe Biden. So, Iraqi pro-Iran groups claim drone attack on South Israel. Panic buttons for poll workers, special weapons teams deployed on rooftops in the National Guard on standby. 2024 U.S. presidential election campaign has been a particularly volatile one. Security for Election Day on Tuesday is being ramped up unprecedented levels given concerns over possible civil unrest, election chicanery, or violence against election workers. States of Oregon, Washington, and Nevada activated the National Guard. FBI set up a command post to monitor threats, and security has been bolstered at many of the nation's nearly 100,000 polling stations. And there has been a few incidents. We'll cover some of them. Latest I heard about was, oh God, what was it? There's been threats of a BOMB kind of style, other stuff like that. So, things are going on. Dutch, French authorities raid the Netflix offices in a tax probe. Tech giant Meta illegally harvested sensitive data, including sexual orientation, from nearly 1 million South Korean Facebook users and shared it with advertisers, Seoul's data watchdog said on Tuesday. Yes, they are terrible human beings. Queen Camilla is unwell with a chest infection and has withdrawn from her engagements this week, Buckingham Palace has announced. New Hampshire Libertarian Party officially endorsed Trump just mere hours before the election. There is a strong undercurrent in Wisconsin. It's going to be very different as predicted by the pollsters. We are actually seeing that in live. Trump at 2 a.m., that was last night. He was still polling. He said very likely World War III will start soon. It's a day we waited for. The most on the clock right now, it's 5 a.m. Eastern. This was, of course, earlier today. Polls open early as 5 a.m. on the East Coast, certain locations in Vermont. Polling places in all parts, 5 more. They open at 6 a.m. We'll be with you for the entire coverage cycle. This is Aquila. He's done great work. He's basically called the whole thing. He said Trump 272, Kamala 266, and as it's trending right now, that's not outside the realm. But of course, as he said too, don't get too comfortable. This is when Milwaukee and Philly and Atlanta get their magical trucks in to the bays, if you will. So he said, we'll be with you for the entire election coverage, crunching the numbers, giving out analysis and the votes, share with the Trump and Harris campaigns. We would love to say it doesn't matter at the end of the day who's getting what. We would only urge you to make your voice heard, whether you are a blue voter, red voter, independent, or voting from a blue or red state. Opportunity comes once every 4 years, actually 2 years if you're including the Senate and House. But for the presidency, yes, it is only 4 years. So, yes, you should get out and take your family, friends, relatives, and tell them it's a service to the nation. It's going to be a little wet day in parts of Iowa, Michigan, Wisconsin, so carry your umbrellas and raincoats. And, yes, stand in line to get your voice heard. Have a safe day and enjoy. We agree with all this. I voted and threatened democracy earlier, about 6 p.m. My wife and I collectively threatened democracy. Went out pretty well. Saw a funny meme that had Alex Smith, former quarterback for the Washington Commanders and the Kansas City Chiefs. It said, we think that this guy would be a wonderful commander-in-chief. So, a little football humor. Visuals from downtown D.C., National Guard on standby. Untoward incident. Iran's strike against Israel could be as early as after the U.S. elections poll close and will likely involve Israel's air defenses being the main targets in this round of the long-range missile war. And you really could see that in the next 48, 72, 24, right now, next week, we don't know. But think about it. They've got a clock now counting down. Should Trump take it? I'm not calling it for Trump. I'm saying hold on to your butts. We're just getting started. We know the fun happens after midnight, right? So don't be thinking that your guy's going to win or your girl's going to lose or whatever. But as this says right here, you can very well see some kind of major escalation between everything. I mean, Netanyahu getting rid of the person that he did shows that he's looking for someone sympathetic to striking Iran. Vote counting machines across Pennsylvania were reportedly down due to issues in the flash drives in the machines. The outages was affecting primarily the western region of the state. They, I think I've worked through that since. China unveils its HQ-19 anti-ballistic missile interceptor system at Zhuhai. Designed to intercept MRBMs in mid-course at ranges of 1,000 to 3,000 kilometers, it rivals the United States THAAD system. CIA reportedly possesses a secret system capable of covertly and non-violently disabling ships, including large vessels. As of the Trump administration, only one such system existed. System was reportedly located in a different hemisphere from Venezuela when considered for use. Trump administration considered using the system against Venezuelan oil tankers during 2018 to 2020. The goal was to disrupt oil shipments between Venezuela and Cuba. The plan was ultimately shelved due to the CIA's reluctance to relocate their only system. Several potential mechanisms: high-power microwave, HPM energy, to disable electronic systems, electronic warfare targeting sensors and communications, cyber attacks on industrial control systems, and physical obstruction methods, though deemed less likely, according to the war zone. Ukraine reports its first attack on North Korean troops deployed in Russia's Kursk region. Approximately 8,000 North Korean soldiers are stationed. These troops are equipped with 60-millimeter mortars, assault rifles, machine guns, sniper rifles, anti-tank missiles, rocket launchers, and some night vision and thermal imaging devices. Election officials in Caroline County, Virginia, have switched to paper ballots due to a reported issue with voting machines. Billboard in Tehran displays the word Taloshima, merging Tel Aviv and Hiroshima. Farsin Nadimi, senior researcher with the Washington Institute, wrote on his X account that Iran may launch its retaliatory strike against Israel on Tuesday night during the U.S. presidential election, with the attack likely to involve at least 400 missiles aimed at Israel, air defense bases and sites, as well as defense manufacturing industries around the city of Haifa. Iran is likely to utilize its Khoramashar 4 medium-range ballistic missile, as well as missiles launched by Iranian-backed groups in Iraq and possibly Syria. In addition, the Iranian army of Artesh is expected to participate, likely using its Arash long-range attack drones and Su-24 MK Fencer-D tactical bombers equipped with standoff weapons. Russia launched 2 Iranian satellites into space tonight from the Vostochny space base in the Russian Far East. Lebanese Christian journalist Tony Abi Najem, a prominent opponent of Hezbollah, in a televised debate with a Hezbollah supporter. I don't want Hezbollah to surrender today. I want them to continue until the end so that none of them are left, he said. A new wind is blowing in the Lebanese media and politics, one of common sense, courage, and resistance to Hezbollah. Hamas rejects brief ceasefire and hostage deal, insists on control over Gaza and future rearmament. Hamas has rejected a proposal for a brief ceasefire and hostage release, as per Secretary Blinken's call with Egypt's foreign minister. The deal proposed a 48-hour ceasefire, the release of 4 Israeli hostages over 10 days, and 100 Palestinian prisoners freed from Israeli jails, leading to further talks. Hamas refused, insisting on maintaining control in Gaza and rearming. Barrage to Nahria and the surrounding area. Rockets were launched into the area. Some were intercepted, and some fell in open areas. No casualties reported. IRGC Ground Force Commander Brigadier General Mohammed Pakpour has revealed that intelligence shows the Jaish al-Adal Balochi terrorist group is coordinated by Israel. He noted that recently terrorist operations in the southeast of Iran established with Israeli movements and were directed by enemy intelligence services to destabilize the region. Israel's Police Serious Crimes Unit, Lahav 433, is conducting a criminal investigation concerning events from the beginning of the ongoing war. According to an official statement, several overt investigative actions have already been carried out as part of the probe. Major Israeli airstrikes on Hezbollah positions in Al-Qusayr, western Syria, on the border with Lebanon. Belarusian defense minister claims NATO preparing for armed confrontation after reports of North Korean troop deployment in Eastern Europe. Belarusian defense ministry has stated that NATO is effectively gearing up for an open armed confrontation with both Belarus and Russia. The assertion underscores rising tensions in Eastern Europe, fueling concerns about regional stability. North Korea has approximately 12,000 soldiers in place and around 500 officers. So, U.S. Foreign Ministry asked the Iraqi government to prevent the Iraqi resistance from targeting Israel and its interests. Iran and its proxies are preparing to harm us, but we are steps ahead of them in defensive and offensive capabilities. That's according to the Israeli Defense Minister Gallant. Democrats are currently 1.7 million votes short in advance voting, a position they usually hold at this point in the election. Law enforcement officers have been guarding a polling station in Florida since early morning where Donald Trump is expected to vote, Associated Press reports. FBI Russian agents distributed video with fake claims of election fraud in Arizona. U.S. territory of the Northern Marianas Islands, Kimberly King Hines, Republican, has beaten Edwin Probst, Democrat, basically 2-1, 63 or whatever to 37. So, looks like Israel is expecting an Iranian retaliation in the imminent time frame. We shall see. Lots of movement in the Middle East right now. Romanians and British will blow up a viaduct near Tallinn for military purposes. Demolition of the structure on the Rig Road is already scheduled for November 12th. It has been officially stated that the destruction of the Kanama viaduct is part of preparations for the construction of a new bridge, but this explosion also has another purpose, practicing tactical actions to contain the enemy in case of invasion. Viaduct can only withstand 80 tons, which is why Estonia Army equipment cannot pass through it. In its place, a viaduct with a carrying capacity of 360 tons will be built to move armored vehicles. All of 6 B-52 bombers have been spotted at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. From a diocese in Ivano-Frankivsk, Ukraine, a priest calls Donald Trump the Antichrist, and he should not win, he says. Reporter, is there a transition team in place? Everything is in place. I don't want to talk about that now. So that is Trump on his transition. Kind of in business mode. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has been fired by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Malaysia wanted to expel Israel from the UN, but Malaysia prepares a draft resolution to expel Israel from the UN. Whether it's accepted and all that, of course, we shall see. Donald Trump says he does not want to harm Iran, but the country must not become a nuclear power. Netanyahu fires Defense Minister Gallant, appoints Foreign Minister Israel Katz as Minister of Defense, and Gideon Sa'ar as Foreign Minister. Netanyahu basically fired an agent of the Israelis and the American deep state inside his government. Israel's Katz says that Foreign Affairs Minister of Israel will become the Defense Minister within 48 hours. Trump says he would concede defeat only if it's a fair direction. He won't, so if it's fair, he said he's okay with it. If it's not, then he's going to raise some questions. Netanyahu says he is firing Gallant due to trust issues and gaps between them in management of the war. CNN reported the Michigan officials are optimistic that the winner of the election in the states will be known by Wednesday evening. New rules in the U.S. are designed to allow for a faster vote counting. Michigan is one of the swing states that will be decisive in the election. Elon Musk is going to spend election night with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, according to the New York Times. Northville, Michigan polling location was evacuated due to a suspicious or a reported gas leak disrupting the voting process. Russia urgently evacuates around 100 soldiers from Beirut. Israel, Knesset members called on the people to make immediately the streets and demand Netanyahu's removal after Defense Minister Gallant was fired. Israeli media, Netanyahu holds Gallant responsible for the leaks that were reached. And it was the enemy that did it, so... Man smells like fire with a torch was arrested at the Capitol in D.C. BNO News says guys showed up. He's shown up at multiple places. He just smelled like a gas can. So, yep. To give an idea to who the current defense minister of Israel is, Israel Katz is amongst the three Israeli politician names listed by the International Court of Justice for displaying genocidal intent. Israel Katz was also responsible for the cancellation of the agreement between Israel and UNRWA. Israel has tweeted multiple horrific genocidal statements in the beginning of the war. So... Netanyahu is considering firing Herzi Halevi as well. War criminals are having a bad time tonight. Well, depends on whose criminal it is for you. Israeli media now reports that Netanyahu is also considering replacing IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi and Shin Bet Director Ronen Bar after he dismissed the defense Gallant. U.S. will test hypersonic nuclear-capable missiles tonight. Trump's media shares soar 14% on the election day. Traders bet on the White House win. Voting machines are currently down in Apache County, Arizona, causing voters to have to be turned away or continue their wait with their ballots. North Korean soldiers sent to battle between Ukraine by Russia encounter unlimited internet for the first time in their lives. And now they've become addicted to pornography. So, that doesn't surprise me. Latest Washington Post polls show Kamala Harris and Donald Trump incredibly close races in 7 key states. Harris is a slight lead nationally in our final averages, but everything swing is its state is within a normal-sized polling error. 15 killed in a strike near Tyre. Tonight, IDF attacked an apartment in Barja, Lebanon. According to estimates, the home was attacked to eliminate a Hezbollah operative who was in it. Interesting thing is that eyewitnesses claim that euro and dollar bills were seen catching fire from the bombed apartment following the attack. One of the sources in Lebanon estimated that the man who was attacked was a financial executive in Hezbollah and who tried to hide in the Barja area. Amish are out in full force voting for Trump in Pennsylvania. Air Force intercepted 2 unmanned aerial vehicles launched from the east. Following the alerts that were activated, 2204 local Arava Sea area, the Air Force intercepted an unmanned aircraft that crossed into the country and was launched from the east. There were no casualties. In addition, the Air Force recently intercepted another unmanned aircraft that was launched from the east and made its way to the territory of the country. The vessel was intercepted before crossing into the territory of the state of Israel. Google has acknowledged an issue where users have been flagging in which searches for "where can I go to vote for Harris" produce an interactive map to help you find the places. But if you're young, anyway. Voters said the economy and immigration are the top issues facing the country. About 4 in 10 voters consider the economy and jobs the most important problem facing the country, as frustration with inflation spiking in 2022 and beyond lingered in the form of higher grocery, housing, and gasoline costs. Nearly 2 in 10 voters said the top issue is immigration. Where am I? Joe Biden will be a Kamala's night watch. There we go. Harris campaign, we are optimistic we are literally about to turn the page on Donald Trump and install Vice President Harris. Did she say install? Yes, install. That's how they think. Milwaukee rerunning more than 30,000 absentee ballots over a machine error. Hackers are linked to Chinese intelligence and precision strikes to quietly compromise cell phone lines used by an array of senior national security and policy officials across the U.S. government, in addition to politicians. According to people familiar with the matter, the access allowed them to scoop up all call logs, when unencrypted text, and some audio from potentially thousands of Americans and others with whom they are interacting. Law enforcement is reportedly responding to multiple bomb threats in DeKalb County. FBI has arrested a Michigan man after he threatened a mass shooting at a Christian conservative, against Christian conservatives if Trump wins the election. Russian armed forces have provided slides from a report by the State Emergency Service of Ukraine on which they plan to capture the Kursk nuclear power plant. The plan was supposed to involve 20,000 soldiers, 27 tanks, 50 armored vehicles, 30 artillery pieces, and a partridge in a pear tree, 5 multiple rocket launchers as well. According to Ukrainian plans, in the event of an incident in the Kursk nuclear power plant, only Russia would be exposed to radioactive contamination. Head of the Russia's Radiation, Chemical, and Biological Protection Troops, Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov, said at a press conference. Bombing of critical facilities by Ukraine could have consequences comparable to the Chernobyl or Fukushima disasters. Israeli official has confirmed a Channel 12 report that Netanyahu is willing to offer Gaza hostage takers several $1 million for the release of each hostage. Netanyahu is also said to be willing to guarantee safe passage out of the Gaza for captors and their families with release of their hostages. I don't see any of that happening. So, Russian troops have approached the state border between Russia and Ukraine and have set up mine barriers blocking the route at the Ukrainian armed forces constantly use to enter Russian territory, in particular in the area of Glushkovsky district of the Kursk region. Israeli and U.S. intelligence indicates Iran is planning a significant attack against Israel, Iraqi soil, coming days, according to Axios. Officials say following this Israeli attack, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, has been moving drones and ballistic missiles to Shia militias in Iraq and is planning a joint attack against Israel. In addition, the Biden administration warned that the Iraqi government that if it doesn't prevent an Iranian attack from its soil, it could face another country's attack. We'll just leave it at that. Joy-Ann Reid, Florida is on an extreme right-wing fascist state because he didn't vote like she wanted you to do. So if you don't vote like Joy Reid, you're a complete fascist, okay? Yeah, sure. Pentagon officials confirmed to Fox News on Friday that U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin had ordered several B-52 Stratofortress bomber aircraft, refueling aircraft and Navy destroyers to the Middle East. In a statement to Reuters, Pentagon spokesperson Air Force Major General Patrick Ryder said additional military assets will begin arriving in the region in the coming months. Should Iran, its partners, or its proxies use this moment to target American personnel or interests in the region, the United States will be taking every measure necessary to defend our people, Ryder said. Democrat Sarah McBride has won the Delaware's U.S. House seat, NBC News projects. She's the first openly she's the first openly transgender person elected to Congress. Dollar gains 1.5% against the yen, euro ahead of U.S. election results. Turkish-American socialist progressive political commentator Cenk Uygur has gone AWOL on Twitter. No tweets in the past 4 hours. The horror. Republicans have won control of the Senate. Bitcoin has reached a new all-time high, surpassing its previous record of 73.77 thousand. Donald Trump won the swing state of Georgia, according to the decision desk, right when this broadcast starts. Arizona is back red, going back and forth. You won't know their result until tomorrow. 82% chance of winning Trump, according to the New York Times. So, among New York Jews, Trump was up over 43%. Bitcoin interest rates, S&P futures up on Trump's win, bonds down. And electoral votes so far as of about 10:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Trump 207, Harris 109. So that, my friends, is your crisis report. God bless you all. And we will see you on the next one. Links in the description. We are, we're just going to have to see what's going on. So make sure you are watching it all and going to the different places and finding out good information, okay? All right, God bless. PrepperNow out.